Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Step into English program by Silpa Saira Foundation. So far, we have been learning about parts of speech. In previous weeks, we've learned nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and also we learned articles. And last week, we learned about verbs. So today I have decided to teach you English grammar tenses because right after, so it is somewhat difficult to teach verbs without teaching about English tenses. So today we are going to learn basic English tenses starting with simple present tense. So let me share my screen with you. And here you can see tenses, and in Sinhalese also it's given the meaning. Actually, the verb, the noun tenses come from the terms verb. A verb, how a verb used to indicate the time, and sometimes the continuation or completeness. If it is continuous, it happening, සිද්ධ විමින් පවතිනවා නම් it's continuation. And if it is about completeness, එක සිදු වුණාද, සිදු වෙමින් පවතිනවද, එහෙම තියෙනවා නම් ඒ verb එකත් එක්ක කාලයේ තියෙන සම්බන්ධය, the relationship between time and the verb is denoted by the term tense, and it's a noun. So, and all these things that we talk in terms of action, verbs, which we learned last week, and the relationship between the action to time of speaking, that means whether it is present, past, or future, or whether it has been a continuous action. So in the Latin form, tempus, time, it's become tense. So let us learn about the basic tenses here. And one of the most popular and easiest tense to master is simple present tense. So if we talk about simple present tense, we call it Sarala Vartamana. And you know already the subject pronouns that we learned. So the first person, second person, and third person. The first person is I and we, and second person is you, and third person singular he, she, it, and third person plural is they. So if you are forming the simple present tense verb with the simplest form of simple present tense is just with a verb and a subject, you can make a sentence. Like I sing. So the simplest form. And you can say similar to that, you sing and we sing, they sing. But if you take the third person singular here, he, she, and it, you cannot say he sing. Instead, you have to add s at the end of the verb, and you have to say he sings. So that is the most important part you have to note down here. And to make it more easier to understand, let me share with you a timeline. Right? So hope you can see my screen now. And there, you know, to explain the tenses easily, we are using a timeline like this. So this is simple past, simple present, and simple future. So at the moment we are talking about simple present tense. And if you draw the timeline, a timeline is actually like this. So hopefully you all know when you hear the horizontal line drawn is like x-axis, and then the vertical one y-axis. So if you just see this, so this is, you know, this is the center, and now means, you know, at this moment, simple present tense. So past, simple past tense means here, that means it is somewhere in the past and it is completed, finished. And if we talk about something which is about to happen in future, and it is somewhere over here, the future. But here simple present tense means, you know, around the center, all the actions that we are talking about. It can be now, it can be every day, and it can be at this moment, right? So you can see here, if you take the verb study, and if you want to talk, you know what is the meaning of study. If you want to make a simple present tense sentence, such as, I study every day. So this is a habitual action. You do it as a habit. And you studied yesterday, and you study now, and you're studying now, and tomorrow also you will learn. So it's a past to present to future action. So you can tell it in this way: I study every day. So hope that is clear. And there are signal words in every tense. So here in simple present tense, the signal word is every day. So every day denotes the meaning it happens as a habit. So likewise, there are similar terms that signals to which tense it belongs to. So since we are learning simple present tense, let me share some more examples for signal words. So hope you can see my screen now. And there you can see these are the signal words. We are talking about simple present tense. And when it comes to simple present tense, as I told you, every day is the signal word, signal word, right? So that means something happens repeatedly. The past, the present, and future too also. It happens just like you study every day. And sometimes we may tell about things that you do not all the time, sometimes. So it talks about how often it happens, or you do it. So it can be always, හැම වෙලාවෙම, often, නිරන්තරයෙන්ම, usually, පුරුද්දක්, සාමාන්‍ය වශයෙන්, seldom, බොහොම කලාතුරකින්, never, කිසිදාකවත් නැහැ, first, then likewise, if you're just explaining something that you do in a sequence, order එකකට අපි කරනවා නම්, first take soap, then apply it on your hands. Next, take some water and rub your fingers and palms and everything to make a lather. Likewise, if you are giving an instructions, or if you give instructions to do certain things to a specific person, or to ask someone to follow an order, or something like that, you will follow this sequence. So it can be first, then, next, later, finally, likewise. So these words in simple present tense are signal words. So as you can, hope you can see the screen. So the signal words shows you just like first and then, one action follows another. And so just if you, for example, if you take, if you see these examples, you can see I work, he works, I go, he goes, just like what you saw previously. With third person singular, you have to add S. And here you see it's a special case. Instead of S, ES is added. So you see go ends with O. So if it ends with O, then instead of adding simply a S, you add ES. So that is a special case. But usually the simple present tense verb is formed with the subject and the infinitive, the base form of the verb, which we learned last week about when we were learning about the verbs. And then the third person singular, it's very important, to the infinitive, the base verb, you add a S. So let us learn how adding simply a S or ES or IES, likewise how they change according to the verb that you use. So once again, I'm sharing my screen with you. And here you can see how to add ES. So here you can see verb ending in S. He pass. So if the verb ends with S, you don't add S. Then there will be 3 S's. Instead, what you do is you add ES. So it becomes he passes. If the verb ends with IZ, does. Does means she does ends with IZ, so it becomes ES at the end. She does. And if the verb ends with SH, like wish, you see it ends with SH. So when you are using it with a third person singular, like she, he, or it, say she wishes. And if the verb ends with CH, like watch, then again you have to add ES when you make the third person singular verb in simple present tense. And there are some verbs which ends with a consonant, like fly. Oh, previously you saw study. They all end with Y. So if it ends with a consonant, then consonant and a Y. That means here fly, F-L-Y. So before Y, there's a L and it's a consonant. So when you convert that into, when you are making the simple present tense verb with a third person singular, you cut off Y and add IES. So Y become I and then you add ES. Flies. Studies, STUD, Y become I and add ES. And the rest of the things, the regular way form of making the verb with third person singular to simple present tense is just simply adding S. So these are special occasions, and while you learn these things well with great exposure to language, ගොඩක් වැඩි දුරට ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගන්නවා මේක කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියලා. Practice makes perfect. Practice කරන්න ඕන එකට. Okay, and so let's now see simple present tense negative form. How we are going to learn the negative form. So here you see I do not. When you shorten the verb do not, it becomes don't. I don't work. So when it comes to third person singular he, you can't say he don't. Instead, you add es to this do and make does. So I hope you can see it clearly. So let me make it bigger. So here you see do. So as you learned previously, ends with O. Does. And negation is he doesn't. And at the same time, when you make the interrogative or the question form, you take this do or the helping verb. We learned the auxiliaries when we're learning about the verbs. You take this verb front. That is the very first word that you are writing, and you start with a capital letter. So you say, do I work? And then, does he work? Do I go? Does he go? So that is how you make the interrogation or the question. Okay, so let's move back to our lesson given in Silpa Saira. And here you say, negatives in the simple present are formed by adding don't or doesn't before the simple form of the verb. Do, does, don't, doesn't යන පද වර්තමානයේ යෙදේ. So you can once again clearly see these examples in the very simplest form. I don't sing. You don't sing. He doesn't sing. She doesn't sing. It doesn't sing. We don't sing. And they don't sing. So these are all, you see, the doesn't comes with third person singular subjects. And the other way, the first person and second person, you, both plural and singular is you. For you also, I say you. Only for one person, even I can say you. Oh, so generally when we speak, just to make it sensible, sometimes we say you all to make it understandable or to make it sensible. Since we feel that you means only one person, we say you for one person, but yet you means for one and also for many, right? So that is the negative sentence. And let us see in simple present tense, vartamane ouna prashna. So if you just, when we make the questions in simple present tense, either you can give yes or no answers. That's enough, right? So yes, no questions are also created using the auxiliary. So we learned when we're talking about the verbs, the do is an auxiliary. It helps the main verb. It's a supportive verb. It's a helping verb or a model auxiliary. So this time the auxiliary is placed before the subject. So let's see how it is placed before the subject. So earlier we were talking about I do sing, or I sing, I don't sing. But when you ask the question here, you get the auxiliary to the you get the auxiliary before the subject. And that is the very first word you are writing. It's the very first helping auxiliary that you write, and you start with a capital letter. Do I sing? And don't forget to put the question mark if you are writing it. And if you talk, then definitely with the way you speak, you can simply understand whether it's a question or not. And anyways, it's a question. Do I sing? Do I sing? Do. That means it's a question. Do is do. The auxiliary verb comes first. And do you sing? Does he sing? Does she sing? Likewise it goes. And do we sing? And do they sing? So for all these examples, you can see that you can give one single answer. Yes or no. Do I sing? Yes or no. So, but there can be some questions formed with a question word and the auxiliary both. So if a question is made with a question word and the auxiliary, then you cannot simply say yes and no and escape. So instead, you have to give a lengthy answer. So let's see what are they. So what are the question words? Question words, there are, WH questions, the most popular type. That means they start with W and H. Like what, W-H-A-T. Why, W-H-Y. When, W-H-E-N. Where, W-H-E-R-E. Which, W-H-I-C-H. So these words themselves is a question. මේ වචනයම ප්‍රශ්නයක්. Why, ඇයි. Where, කොහෙද. When, කවදද. What, මොකද්ද. Which, මොන එකද. And other than that, there are some question words that start not with WH, like how, කොහොමද. And also, who, කවුද, WH question. Whom, කාටද, right? So with these question words, if you make a question in simple present tense, then you cannot use yes, no answers. You see, I sing, do I sing? What do I sing? Can you say yes or no? No, you cannot say yes or no. What do I sing? I sing a lullaby. මං sing කරන්නේ නැලවිලි කවියක්. නැලවිලි ගීයක්. I sing a rock and roll music. On rock and roll සංගීතේන ගීයක් ගායනා කරන්න. Like that. You know, you have to give a explanation. Why do you fight? Do you fight? No. Yes. Why do you fight? ඇයි රණ්ඩු කරන්නේ? So you have to reason out. You have to give a reason for fighting. Does he live? එයා ඉන්නවද එහෙ? එයා ජීවත් වෙනවද එහෙ? Where does he live? කොහෙද එයා ජීවත් වෙන්නේ? Then you have to give tell the place that he lives in. Right? So since we have been talking about these WH questions and yes and no questions and the negations, so I hope that you learned about the basic simple present tense structure and how to form them. So how to form the this is basic simple present tense verb and to make a question and everything. So let us see some examples or some let us do exercises based on them. Okay. Yes. Give me a moment. Yes, sorry for taking some time, and hope you can see my screen once again. And here you can see I play the guitar. Jessica plays the guitar. So you see the difference. I, first person singular. So we treat it differently. But Jessica, third person singular. So she plays the guitar. So you put S at the end of the verbs. So this is a special occasion, you see, that yes, it ends with play. It ends with Y. But though it ends with Y, before Y, it's A. It's not a consonant, it's a vowel. So you do not cut y and add ies. Instead, you leave y as it is and add s. So that's a special case. So you have to learn that. And then verb be, inside verb be in simple present tense, it is am, is, are. So with I, you have to take am. I am 16 years old. So simple present verb be, I am. Tommy lives at 107 Pine Lane. Joanna cooks dinner for her family. They eat lunch at 12. So every day they eat lunch at this time. Nina takes medicine when she is sick. So when she is sick, so it tells, it signals what time, how often, right? So she takes medicine. Is that all the time or only when she gets sick? I like chocolate. So it talks about your preferences. So you never use this like in ing form. Say that you are, I'm liking him. No, you never say. So there are other few verbs like need, want. When you express your innermost feelings, right? The senses, you don't use those in ing form at any cost. So those verbs are always used in simple present tense form, right? So I like, I love, I need, I want. So these verbs always used in simple present tense. Okay. So, and he drives a nice car. We want. We want. Here, want even, a feeling. You express your desires. So, kamath prakasha karneva, kamati deva. So we use these words in simple present tense all the time. We want to see a movie tonight. Tonight. Simple present tense. Mr. Anderson. Here it's a very interesting verb. Teach. What is the simple present tense form of verb in with a third person singular? Mr. Anderson, third person singular. So it is teachers. CH, it ends with CH. So you put ES at the end of this verb to make third person singular verb form in simple present tense. Mr. Anderson teaches chemistry at Hill High School. So you see this chemistry, CH, yes, we've learned that we have to sound it as ch, because here teach, ch sound, but English is an absurd language. So this ch has become here teach, but here you don't say chemistry, it is chemistry. Just become k, right? And then they study English. So they is plural, so study. I want to go home now, won't. Bill and Calicia. So Bill and Calicia, two people. Yes, Bill is third person singular, Calicia third person singular, but yet there are two people together. So it's joined with a conjunction you'll be learning in future. So Bill and Calicia drive to the mountains every year. So while doing these exercises, I want you to note down, pay attention on the signal words as well. We eat pasta once a week. How often do we eat? Is it daily, or is it sometimes, or is it usually, or is it often, or how often? Once a week. It snows here in December. It snows. December වලදී හිම වැටෙනවා. So it's a special case, you say. December is snowing කියන්නේ. December snows කියන්නේත් නැහැ. It කියන වචනය අපි introduce කරනවා. It snows here in December. So it is third person singular. So we've learnt about this word it. It can be a සතෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ළමයෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So it's gender neutral. It can be something, right? When Dax takes a shower, he washes his hair with shampoo. So I hope that you learnt about some of the basic simple present tense tenses with first person, third person, and first person, third person, singular forms, plural forms. And also, I hope that in future we will learn, when we are learning other tenses, it will be easier for you to understand. And most probably next week we'll be learning adverbs. And parallelly, I'll be introducing tenses in between parts of speech, parts of speech, because it's important to learn tenses, because through tenses you express yourself and you learn to speak. And if you want to speak, and because one of the main thing that why you learn a language, a different language, is to speak. So I hope the resources provided by Shilpa Sayara Foundation through this course, Step into English, you have started to explore on your own the different stories, different songs, and different PDF books and other online resources that we share in daily basis. You can improve on your own and come up to a certain level to speak and to make your own errors, because making errors means you should have by now many questions, because when someone is learning a language, they have to have many questions, and while they try to speak, they may feel that they tend to make mistakes. So these are great, that we call them developmental errors, because when you develop, so you day by day you feel that something is there new to learn. So then you feel like you have the quench, පිපාසයක් ඇති වෙනවා ඉගෙන ගන්න. එතකොට මේ හැමදාම මේක කරනකොට you may see when I think that you have started reading some of the books that we have prescribed, such as The Old Man and the Sea. So I think while learning them, you may feel that you are a little bit ahead or a little bit behind. So then we have to, at the end of the day, we have to come to the same level with hope to learn something new. And yes, let's see how it works on. So this is the end of the session, and if you have any questions, you can ask once I wind up recording. So I wish you a very good night for you all, and thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.